What's up, everybody? It's a nice, beautiful September morning, like 6:30 in the morning. And I just got done dropping my daughter off at the school because she's got track meet today, and well, everyone else is asleep, and I have unfletched arrows. Now that we've moved back to Kentucky, where we can archery hunt, or it's a lot easier to archery hunt. I'll say you can't archery hunt where we were. It's just a lot easier to do it here. My wife doesn't have any more arrows. I had a whole bunch of these Black Eagle rampages, 250 over .003 with some half outs, and they were fletched like this already with a wrap on them, but they got all destroyed from sitting in the case that they were in for the last couple of years or so. And my wife wanted some custom ones, plus those ones are trash anyhow. You know, I don't really like throwing away arrows. Somebody else can use them, you know, and a 250 spine's a pretty stiff spine for whatever. So she got this half out, and I think we're doing 125s on the front. But we're gonna get them wrapped up with some pink nitros. She asked for pink, you know, because that's what she wanted. So we're doing some pink nitros, some black and pink blazers, and some white and black blazers as well. And yeah, I mean, let's get after it. You know, strip it all the way down, grab you some acetone, wipe it down, get all the glue off of it. You don't really need a tool for it at all. I just use I did, oh no, it's right here. I just use a box opener to get everything off of it. I did two last night, but one of the ones I did was actually a broken arrow that I didn't realize was broken, so I had to throw it away, which was really annoying. But yeah, get you like one of these little foam roller pads or whatever. I don't have a fancy one. I would like a fancy one, but gotta deal with what you gotta do in order to get it done. I think she wants to run some leaded nocks. Yeah, just put it on this foam roller once you get everything all cleaned off. They're really sticky, by the way. And that's probably the hardest part of the whole thing, is the fact that they are sticky. But I like to line it up all the way on the back edge where the knot goes. And I'm having a hard time seeing because I'm casting a shadow, so I won't turn on the bright ass light. You want to make sure that they starting off flush before you go to roll it, so you don't end up with a weird overlap. You want to press down from the middle, and you see I almost just messed that one up. It's pretty flush on the end. Everything out of the way. The old Witzenberger. I think we're running a 1/4 inch up is what we did last time. Fletching's really not that hard. I like to do some fletching, mostly because I like to run like a heavy helical. I know that puts a lot of drag on the arrow itself, but I'm using single bevel broadheads And so I'm trying to get as much steering or stability, not steering, stability as possible in flight, because those single bevel broadheads that I use, I don't think actually I have any over here. I think they're actually all in the truck. Will add its own little steering on the front because they're wide. There's like a fletching on the front. So to try to create as much stability as possible, right now I'm using a super heavy helical on the Hoyt on my Eastons. So I like to put it in here real quick, and then I'll make it flush so it lines up, make sure it's staying lined up, and then I'll pull them out just a little bit just to make sure I can get as much contact as humanly possible. Yeah, it may not be like the best way or the right way, but it works out for me. I'm not pulling them out a whole lot. I'm just pulling them out just a little bit. And then I'll kind of come down here and push it on there and make sure it's sitting the way it's supposed to be sitting. Right where I want it. You gotta get the little prep pen. I like to use A&E. I'm actually thinking about redoing all of my arrows, refletching them with some A&E because they're a little bit taller than the ones I have right now. It might help with a little bit of steering. Got Boeing Fletch fuse. It says it takes 2 hours to cure, so you're supposed to put them upright. I like to put several small dots. And what I do is I break a toothpick in half. Then I'll just kind of mesh all the glue together. Again, I don't know, I'm doing it right. Probably not the world's best fletcher out there, but haven't had really any fall off during any of my events. And the reason I like to break the toothpicks in half is because I can use one side and flip it over, use the other side, and I end up with 4 uses out of a toothpick. I'll hold it on there. Make sure it's got some good pressure. Trying to wipe off any excess glue. I'll just completely mess it up now that I'm doing it on camera. It's all good. Not the end of the world, By the way, your mom thinks I'm an A10. Stay frosty out there, Leave it on there for about, 10-15 seconds. Give it a rotate. I'm using a 120 degree difference right now. I also have 90, and then I can do the X-Men, which is 75 over 105. So, but not trying to do a 4 fletch on anything really. Not saying that you can't. Not saying that it's not good. I don't not using the application. Again, little preset fit. Make sure it looks good. I always test your pen. I didn't do that on the first one. So hopefully I got all the stuff off of it. It's just an alcohol pen, really. Yeah, the goal is to at least me shoot 2 deer, hopefully 4 deer, and then get my wife onto a nice buck, or a buck, just a buck in general. My daughter says she wants to go out and try to shoot a buck, so I'm going to try to help her out as much as I can. Trying to get back into the swing of things now that I'm back in my natural habitat, the woods, instead of having to stay in the desert. Not saying the desert's bad. It's got cool animals in it, like scorpions and spiders and snakes. And not saying that those things don't exist anywhere else, but there's a lot more public land out here to hunt. So again, you know, and the reason you're taking off the excess glue is really probably for aerodynamics, mostly, and then not creating any additional drag. Plus, the more glue you use, the more weight you add to the back end. I'm doing like a small right hand twist to it. It's not center lined, just a small one. I don't think that she'll need that much steering power. Got her running the slick tricks this year with 125s. And I can weigh these out and then take a picture of it, and I'll post it in there for how much they weigh. I believe right now she's pulling back 60 pounds. I'm just kind of going with a little bit heavier broadhead, fixed blade, heavier arrow. I know it's flying a lot slower than most people would want, but I'm trying to create as much kinetic energy as possible. Maybe that's a wrong idea or whatever, but that's kind of the thought process I have. Whether it's right or wrong, won't really find out until we get to season. Season's already here. Until she can get out there and, at least attempt to shoot one. But she was pretty dialed in. And then we're going to do some broadhead tuning. Later on as the season goes on, or whenever she's got the time to come out to the range with me. So yeah, sometimes I got a little overboard with glue, but I'd rather they stay on than accidentally fall off. Now, if you use a fletching device like this, I don't know if you can do it with some of those other plastic ones or whatnot, But if you do end up getting a bunch of glue on the actual mouth portion of it, you can just kind of fill up a bowl with some acetone, put in there for a little bit, then wipe it off. Then you should be good to go. So, that's how I fletch an arrow. I also like once all that jazz is already, once it's all done and it's looking good, I like to go back and I like to put a little bead on the very front. And that's just because as you're shooting through things or at things, the tip of the fletching usually gets beat up the most. And, fletchings can handle a whole lot of beating, but if you can kind of keep that front leveled down during impact or whatnot, I think it helps out a whole bunch. So that way you don't end up with flight there. Plus, it's the first thing in contact with drag and wind resistance going into a target. Maybe you get almost all the way through and that's pushed up against it, and we all know that that's how you start losing your fletchings, or you don't realize that you're losing your fletchings, and then all of a sudden you go to shoot it the next time, you only got two fletchings on there, and you're like, man, why is it being all crazy? You don't realize the front is actually ripped off. So I like to try to beat the front of it a little bit, not too much. If I think it's too much, then I go back and I wipe it off. Not all of it, I just kind of clean it up real nice. Or maybe really bad. Easy peasy. If I'm not talking, usually it takes me only a couple minutes. Yeah. That's what we got. Whoop. Just a little offset, not too crazy. Off to the right hand side, and yeah, a lot more to go. So I'm gonna finish these bad boys up, and we'll take some videos when she's shooting them out of her bow and see how they fly. Y'all stay frosty. Be easy now.